So today we're going to do something a little bit different. As you might have guessed from the title, we're going to be playing with an artificial intelligence. So this is OpenAI's website, and in case you're not familiar with it, OpenAI is a company created with the sole purpose of doing AI research. OpenAI's mission is to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. So this company has been developing different AIs that are very good at very narrow specific things. And one of the artificial intelligences that they developed is called GPT-2. Now GPT-2 is an artificial intelligence capable of generating a full news article based on one single input, which would be a sentence. So you input a sentence and the artificial intelligence auto-completes the rest of the news article. Now, one of the ways they rate whether or not the artificial intelligence is good enough is by seeing whether or not the artificial intelligence is capable of convincing real humans that it is not an artificial intelligence. So what they did is they surveyed people and they present to them an article written by the artificial intelligence, and they asked them to rate them between 1 and 10. And it seems like the credibility score, which is how convincing the article is, got basically a 7 out of 10. So it's pretty convincing. Now, since OpenAI is, well, it's open, they do release all the code and they allow you to use their findings to create your own stuff. So there's this website called Talk to Transformer, which uses their artificial intelligence to create a paragraph based on one single input. Now this is very different from other bots that we've seen before. This is not something like Cleverbot. You cannot ask a question here. You guys may remember Cleverbot from way back in the day. It was really popular with YouTubers at some point, so you can ask it questions and it's gonna answer you with something that resembles a human being. And of course, because it's a bot, it's not unusual for conversations to devolve into erotic fanfic or stuff like that. It's not unusual for that to happen. I mean, there's another AI called Tati, which used tweets as the learning model. And of course, because it used Twitter, the AI essentially learned to say some heinous shit. And since you're here, you already know what I'm gonna do with this. Of course, I'm gonna use this advanced neural network to create fanfic. Now, before I started recording this video, I wanted to test whether or not it would be funny to do this. So I did some tests and I took some screenshots because the results were hilarious in my opinion. So this is what I wrote. Shroud is the best gamer in the world, and this is proven by his big fat. And this is the auto-completion from the AI. It says, Shroud is the best gamer in the world, and this is proven by his big fat bank account. He's been playing video games for a while now and has a ton of money. I did not write this. This was auto-generated. He is so strong that he can even beat out the other gamers with his massive muscle. So needless to say, it works. It's so random lol XD that I had to make a video on this. Here's another screenshot from another test I did before I started recording. Pewdiepie leaned in and whispered into Sean's ear. That's supposed to be Jacksepticeye. I misspelled his name. I'm sorry. I will touch this little, and then I cannot say this word. This is the auto-completion. I cannot say this word. Sean couldn't hold back. He started kissing the cheek, one single cheek, of the YouTube superstar, rubbing his tongue against his neck as he whispered, I like that. Sean could feel his eyes starting to water, and he took a deep breath. He reached up and wrapped his hand around Pewdiepie's. I can't say that. I cannot say that. I'm gonna get demonetized. And squeezed it gently. Oh my god. His hand was wet from his finger strokes, and as he slowly began to move his hand up and down, he knew he was being a good boyfriend. Pewdiepie laughed. I like that, he whispered back. Sean smiled and rubbed his face against the crown of his brother's head. What? Oh my god, I can say this with a straight face. He knew he shouldn't be doing this, but he was very happy that he could be a part of this. He was also feeling very excited. He wanted to be the one to introduce his younger brother to the best of the internet. He wanted to, and that's where it ends. So those were the tests I did. Every time you complete the text is random, so you can have the same sentence and get 2 different answers. All right, let's do some more Pewdiepie Sean fanfic here. So this is the sentence I entered. Sean and Pewdiepie finished recording the latest episode of Loi. The room was hot and they looked each other in the eyes. PewDiePie walked towards Sean and whispered, and that's where the AI comes in. So the idea, I think, is just give the AI a little bit of context and then just let it take it wherever. So we're gonna click complete text. Let's see if this is actually fanfic. So he whispered to him, "Can we make a new video where we go back in time but make you the time king?" What? Sean smiled and said, "Sure, let's do it." They laughed and made a time portal. What? They jumped forward and kissed each other, and then they ran through the portal again. The video starts as Sean and PewDiePie are walking up to a clock. "Wow, we're so late," they said. "Same," they said. They made a face and made it past a few more times. They kissed each other again. That's the end. So the idea is to give the AI a little bit of freedom as to what to write, but you also want to give it a little bit of context. Like, we want this to be a fan fiction, right? So after an intense recording session, Sean's muscles were sweaty and PewDiePie couldn't help but stare. Now that's the input. He walked towards Sean and said in a sing-songy voice, "I want to fuck you so much, Sean." "I love you so much, Sean." Okay, dude. Oh my god. I didn't think this would get so intense. He felt his face turning a dark shade of red. "I don't know what to say. He looks so hot," he said to himself. "I have the most incredible feelings for you," Sean said. It was the happiest day of his life, and then he was on his way to the airport to go to South Africa to see his family. What? He was going to make sure that it never happens again. What? That he never again has to feel so happy about something that he can't have. Oh my god. What? This is so dramatic. A few days later, his girlfriend came to his house for dinner and found him hanging? What? This is a great story. What the hell? All right, I think it's time to move on to a different group of YouTubers. So if you like Fortnite, you're probably familiar with Lazarbeam. Now, he's a huge YouTuber. He's very popular for doing Fortnite challenges. Now, he has a friend called Mrfresh Asian, who is a very skilled Fortnite player. He's like Lazarbeam's digital bodyguard. He carries Lazarbeam, helps him win. So let's create some fanfic with those two. Now again, I don't want to be too specific, so I'm just going to give it some hints as to what the context is going to be. Then let's just see where it takes it. Alright, so here's the input. It says, Lazarbeam was nervous. This was his first time meeting Mrfresh Asian in real life. He wanted to thank him for his help in Fortnite. So he grabbed Mrfresh Asian by the hand and took him somewhere quiet. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so he took him somewhere quiet. When he reached his house, he opened the door with Mrfresh Asian sitting right behind him. Okay. They looked at each other and then headed towards the front door. They were very nervous. He didn't know how much he should tell him, but he knew he had to tell him something. That was for sure. My friend and I are building a new house. It will be bigger than your house, but it will also be better. That's like a Trump tweet. Here's something more simple. Maybe it's too complicated for this AI. Mrfresh loved Lazarbeam's big urn and his old clothes. His friend said that he would never hurt Lazarbeam and would try to make up to him. But Lazarbeam was already dead by the time he returned home. Lazarbeam's wife and children, who also lived in Bakersfield, had to deal with the death of their father. They were too upset to have dinner with him, which they were not permitted to do. Wow, okay. A couple of weeks after Lazarbeam's funeral, Lazarbeam's father-in-law came over to see how he was doing. What? It took him a while to get over the shock of seeing his sons and then blank. Alright, let's move on to some female action. Alright, you guys might be familiar with Gloom and Azzyland, two very famous female YouTubers, reaction YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, I don't know. So they recorded a video where they reach into a box and touch something and have to guess what it's in the box. So let's do something with that. Gloom saw Azzy's naughty smile. It made her nervous as she reached inside the box. A little bit suggestive, not too much. Let's see what happens. So she reached inside the box. She felt around for the lollipop, but nothing could be found. Looking up to Azzy, she finally spotted the lollipop in the box and put it in her mouth. Hey Azzy, you hungry? ? The two sat down to have their snack and the two started talking about their lives and the way it was. I've never felt more like a family. After talking for a while, they had decided to go to sleep. Azzy opened the box to reveal an extra big box. Azzy looked to Azzy's bed. What? And noticed something that scared her and caused her to quickly close the box. Now it's a creepypasta. What? Azzy arrived at Gloom's house. The room had a large, comfy couch. She grabbed Gloom by her arm and said, "Look, I'm not doing this alone." At this, Gloom said, good. She then grabbed Azzy and asked to kiss her, but Azzy said, "I'm not doing it." "I guess you're too young to be doing this," she said. The two were then having sex, but then she felt her heart beating. Gloom explained that Azzy was supposed to be her sex slave. What the hell? Let's do Callmecarson. If you like memes, you know Carson. You've probably seen a meme with him. So I think one of the jokes is that Carson always uses cargo shorts. So let's do something with that. Alright, so here's Carson's and Jschlatt's fanfic as written by an artificial intelligence. The gaming session had been long and intense. Carson could still feel the adrenaline pumping in his veins. Jschlatt grabbed Carson by his cargo shorts and said, "Let's finish this before I start feeling sick." Carson felt his leg trembling. He looked down and saw a small patch of red on his thigh. He felt a strange shiver run down his spine, and a wave of nausea swept over him. "Jschlatt, get me a towel. Is he having a stroke? What's happening here?" Jschlatt smiled and helped Carson dry his face with a towel. Carson pulled at Jschlatt's shirt and Jschlatt removed a small plastic baggie of pills from his pocket. "What? What are you looking for?" asked Carson. "Nothing," Carson said, trying to stifle the urge to retch. "I'm sorry, my god," Jschlatt said. "That's a thriller right there." Let's do that again. Wait, what? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Jschlatt grabbed Carson by his cargo shorts and whispered in his ear, "I want you to get rid of the..." I can't say that word. I just can't say that. "Just you, me, and the dog." The officer also asked Carson to get rid of all your other friends. Carson was booked on suspicion of resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, and disturbing the peace. The report said the officers saw signs of excessive intoxication. They said Carson had an open alcohol bottle, a red cup in his hands, and the odor of alcohol was apparent on his breath. The police report was not sealed until after Carson's death and did not include the information the officer wanted to include, the report said. But Carson's mother, Cindy Carson, told the Star-Telegram her son never touched alcohol. He was a very nice kid, a very good boy, she said. He had a problem with alcohol. Oh my god, dude. This is not fanfic. This is a thriller. Again, it seems like this AI doesn't want Jschlatt and Carson to get together. That's fine. Alright, I think it's time to move on. There's another group of YouTubers that I think we can put together. Recently, there was a fight between Logan Paul and KSI, so Logan was enthralled by KSI's big black, and let's see what happens. Tank. A big black tank, apparently. I think that's the coolest thing ever, he said. It's so cool. It was trying to raise money for a new tank so it could continue to produce the car. KSI's big black tank is scheduled to be displayed at the 2016's 24-hour race in Germany. So you might be familiar with James Charles. He's a beauty guru and a meme. And you might be familiar with Tati. They had like some beef in the past. So let's reconcile these two through the power of AI here, and let's see what happens. James Charles knew Tati was also part of the beauty event. He saw her in the dressing room and couldn't help but notice her round, juicy. Let's see what the AI says. James Charles knew Tati was also part of the beauty event. He saw her in the dressing room and couldn't help but notice her round, juicy buttocks and her firm, perky tits. What? He had already seen plenty of her on the big screen and in print, but never so prominently. He had been at the Cannes Film Festival and was amazed to see how the actress, who had been a regular on the red carpet, had grown in her stature. It was the first time he had seen her with any type of cleavage, and it made him think of how that type of woman could grow up into a beautiful woman. He was a man with a long history of looking at women. The sight of a woman that looked like a woman made him think of the possibilities of women. Oh my god. Hold on, I need to compose myself. He was a man with a long history of looking at women, and the sight of a woman that looked like a woman made him think of the possibilities of women growing up into beautiful women. He thought she would be a good choice for the Festival of Beauty, and he immediately went over to see if he could get her a ticket. That was... wow. That was beautiful. That was great. Hope you enjoyed it. I think this was fun. I hope no one gets offended. It's just for comedy purposes, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.